Welcome back again, everyone. This is Seth Esposa, Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame, Healing Arts, Occult Science here with another segment on with a current initiate, Cameron Mack, to dive deeper into things in terms of what this mystery school represents and also what it yields to the individual who's doing the real work. How's things going with you?
It's been interesting, to say the least. The last time we talked was March of 2020. In that same month, I understood what Qigong was supposed to feel like. My body started to wake up. The meridians, energy spitting out the soles of my feet while I sleep at night. And things have only progressed. The specific lineage I tapped into, Shenrezig, also Kuan Yin, very heart-based, all of it. It's all very heart-based.
Right. Good. Very good.
The teachings on top of the exercises, and I wasn't ready for that. I was surprised by it. This definitely, over the past 2 years, has changed me in profound ways.
That's a part of how we move energy. Apply all that to the circle. Qigong, you're using breath.
Yeah.
Moving of energies like that into different parts of your body and doing the real.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pseudo bullshit. And then people think it's not true. Shooting energy out of hands. It's fucking real. Abilities in terms of the Jedi and all this different stuff that's put in allegory, kept at the thresholds. Well, how do you fucking do that, right? Qigong, the offshoot of Nikung, which is what I practice. It's very fucking powerful. Yeah. Knowing how to move energies with mind alone. Just fucking do it.
Right. Technically, the forms were Nigong, the heart-piercing palm. It specifically works on the pericardium of the heart, and it activates the plasma that surrounds the heart in the sac. That's entry into no time.
You're tapping eternity at that point.
Yeah. And you feel like that was the first time I felt what the heart is. You know? The first time in my whole life.
Yeah. Actually had that experience in terms.
Yeah.
The ignition of your core.
Yeah. I realized that my heart has been numb my whole life.
It is with most people. This is what I mean in terms of the soul spark being eclipsed. You're not ignited. The more you do and the more you seek that point of eternity where you crack open the gates of true intelligence, the more it's going to happen. But it's not going to be there 24/7. There's certain times where I'll experience the same thing and it happens on its own. I get power surge burst out of my chest and I can feel it streamline my entire fucking nervous system.
Yeah.
And it's clearing out these things systematically. That's how I do energy work. That's how I practice. That's how I teach, man. So you're on it as far as the technique and getting that experience. This is what I hope people experience more than anything else.
Yeah, totally. It's at the very core.
Right.
So this specific lineage is Wu clan.
Yep.
So it's interesting to dig into that. All of a sudden, dragons are coming out everywhere in the etheric.
Right. Visions that you've been having, correct?
Yeah, I could just close my eyes and still myself for a minute and tap into that place. A bunch of scales pass in front of my face. And there is this huge dragon. Its gaze was so powerful. I had to shield myself. I could not look it in the eye. The color was iridescent, golden, rainbow sheen on top of it.
Beautiful. And there's a difference in terms of symbolism in the occult attributes the eradication of the shadow dragon consciousness. That's the corruption. That's the poison. That's the distortion in terms versus that which is pure in context. You think of all the different mythical creatures and all of these things that did exist at one point. The wizard's garden exists still. It's just we're veiled, given over to the inverted constructs to which the shadow dragon consciousness attributes. And this is what the fuck everyone's keyed into, right?
Yeah.
And that's why shadow is ruling the eclipsed spark in context. And so going to that experience, you start to ignite from your core and start to tap the integration process of higher self, expansion of awareness is taking place, expansion of higher consciousness, integration. You're going to have these experiences, guaranteed. There's discrepancy, right? Definitely things in terms of the symbolism of what the dragon actually fucking represents, demonized by fucking religion. Symbolism is neutral in terms of intention. And this is what people don't realize about language and why context is so fucking important when we get into things or share our experiences, right? What's the context of your experience yielding to you in terms of that which is in alignment, that which is pure, that which is right, that which is going to yield true results in terms of that integration process. Otherwise, you're caught in the shadowlands, and all of the symbolism in terms of archetypal consciousness is going to reflect back in a very inverted, twisted, distorted fucking way. So neutral and reflection, okay, what are you projecting upon the unconscious, subconscious mind field itself? And this is why archetypal consciousness is so important. Now, I'm a dragon in human form. This human body, this human vessel that we all have to work with here is a very powerful thing. And this is where we evolved. I also hail dragon lineage in terms of my codex. And so interesting, you said that it was golden with a rainbow hue.
Yeah.
I can relate to that personally. And I'm doing shit on levels that people can't fucking imagine. You're an initiate in this mystery school. And when COVID hit, I was in the etheric pretty fucking hard trying to route this shit the fuck out and warning people, man. So maybe that's a reflection. I'm not going to assume that. It's interesting nonetheless. So you were there present with this energy, and then it lifted and then felt better afterwards?
Yeah. Well, those days in the hospital sucked big time. It was more psychological than it was physical. The psychological ramifications of the whole situation.
Yeah, and that's what the quote unquote real virus constitutes, man. Corona is the crown. So mind in terms of the brain field, and then going back to the nervous system, how they fucking targeted that shit. That's what the fuck happened, man. That was the real deal in terms of what we were up against at that time when they sent out that fucking spellcaster.
Yeah.
And all the issues that had not been dealt with at that point were fucking amplified. They're amplified in terms of signaling.
Yeah, it's scary.
I even experienced it, even at the level that I'm at. I'm like, holy fuck, shit coming out of fucking left field, man. Yeah. And you're not able to navigate consciousness and pull back and be objective. And I'm having correspondence within myself while these attacks are fucking taking place, watching people get taken the fuck over, man. The real virus that we are facing is a timeline virus, blocking us from crossing the threshold in terms of the procession, pressed up against all of this shit that stands in the fucking way. And that's what the fuck people are dealing with. And that's what's getting stacked and burned, whether people want to face it or not. The universe at this point doesn't care if you're a man, woman, or child. I was talking about this last night with my crew. It doesn't fucking care. And if we're not ready to cross these thresholds, then it's just going to be history repeating itself. You don't fucking evolve. You hit that wall, you give up, you cave the fuck in. And that's not the premise of what I teach in terms of initiation into this mystery school. We have to see things through, all the way fucking through. And sometimes it's 5 steps backwards in order to get that momentum back up on the fucking level that you need to breach and pierce the veils and cross the fucking thresholds necessary. And then go into that process of solidifying your existence. So anytime that shit comes back up again, you're able to fucking deal with it very readily. That's not going to be an issue, right?
Right.
Yeah. Navigating consciousness. It's a fucking bitch.
Yeah. In 2020, I went into hermit mode. Doing this Qigong, I really entered into the energy and the consciousness of lineage at the time. Cave hermits were the ascended masters of this lineage. And doesn't mean that they do that their whole life. That's what I felt like this was all about for me. Going into the cave, it became my cave. I started to do the work and I started to do these meditations. And that's the mindset it really became. I stopped listening to the news and social media and all that. And you say it was hell on a lot of people out there. I have friends that it was hell, but I somehow escaped that chaos by shutting myself in for about 18 months.
Yeah.
And just working on myself.
And at that point to which you went into, this is where people learn how to organize chaos. The mind in and of itself, in terms of the universe, is chaos. Pure potential, right? Now, whether it's going into cathartic transmutation, transfiguration, or falling into stagnation, entropy, and rot, the point to which we decide what we're going to do at any given point all goes back to mind. What is our state of mind, like I teach?
Right.
And so it's a decision that you make in terms of actions. And if you're distracted, like most people fucking are, pulled in 20,000 different fucking directions and don't know how to navigate reality, let alone know what's going on, all this shit that they're fucking dealing with, it piles up after a certain amount of fucking years, man. You think at this point you should have been able to figure it out, and people are more fucked up than they ever fucking were because they have not been given the proper knowledge and wisdom in order to organize their thought in terms of their intention. And it's just all over the fucking place, man. Most of it is happening on an unconscious, subconscious level. So when you go into that cave and training yourself how to go into a place of observation, now you can route this shit the fuck out, right?
Yeah, totally.
Right. Good.
I started remembering stuff from my past and from when I was a kid that I didn't remember. I started working through a lot of stuff, healing that I didn't even know was there to be healed. Definitely couldn't have done that if I was everyday life. I didn't have the distractions of work, and I wasn't going out for the first 6 months.
Yeah.
I was literally a hermit alone, to the effect of being able to navigate my own mind and my own issues at the time.
Sounds like you've definitely made progress in terms of your initiation and getting the fucking results, yeah?
Yeah, but it was open. And that actually created a lot of chaos, dealing with all those entities in the unconscious mind and in the underworld.
Mm-hmm. The underworld cycles cannot be bypassed.
Yeah.
A lot of people think they're going to be able to
if you try. If you try,
good luck. Good luck.
Kick back.
Right. Good luck evolving otherwise, man.
Right. It reminds me of your video, The 9 Veils.
Yep.
I was going through all that. I was going definitely through the first 2 over and over again, over and over again, over and over, over and over. I would get to the 3rd and have that moment of understanding, but then get kicked back again.
This is lifelong, man. Not just going to go away. And I'm talking about these vampiric, malevolent forces that want to feast upon the energy of humans suffering. The only reason, though, people suffer is because they're in fucking denial, seeking relief or instant gratification to that over going through the healing process. Having knowledge about it, it's not going to get them there. Yeah. Having knowledge about the higher force isn't going to be the cause point of you making that connection. What are you actually doing? It's the actual experience that we are having, the pain necessary in order to breach these fucking rifts. That's going to push an individual to raise their vibrational correspondence, coming onto that launching pad of catharsis. Whereas if you're in guilt, shame, remorse, hopelessness, all of those lower emotions that we do fucking experience, you got to raise the fucking frequency. And a lot of people don't realize that anger is that fucking door. But it's not okay to be cathartic. Got a bunch of zombies around you. You're so layered the fuck up. The condition of what they experience is what the fuck it is. How the fuck could someone allow themselves to get to that fucking point, man?
I work security at a music venue. The place holds about 600 people. I see all sorts of crazy energy in there. If anything, things have polarized more in my experience over the past 6 months.
How do you mean they polarized more?
People are more dead. They're like robots more than they've ever been. But then there's a small percentage of people that are bright. Their energy will pop. And it's usually artists or friends of the artists, and then affect other people around them.
The deeper you go in terms of integration, the more the contrast will increase as well. It's going to become even more dark for the shit that's actually dark. And that which is in alignment, you will be able to tell the difference. Whereas before, not even fucking aware of this shit.
Right.
So your higher sensory abilities increasing to that, you're not going to end up in situations that you assumed were good, but they were completely fucked up. Would have gauged that, saw that red flag at the fucking get. You mentioned that the polarity has increased with certain people.
People that are regulars, artists that have been there many times over the years. When I opened up psychically in the mid-90s, I was hit hard by dark forces. I went into the fetal position and covered my head. I've talked to people who say they woke up a certain time in their life and then they went back to sleep. But what happened to me was I didn't fall back asleep because I went into that fetal position for about 20 years. And just lived life. I moved up to LA, which I didn't realize the side effect that would become psychically. But I moved up to LA, went to film school, got into Hollywood. That kicked my ass in its own way. After film school, I got jobs on some independent movies. I was also writing screenplays. It was more like a construction job. Ironically, you network to get people to read your shit, because if you don't network, you can't get your stuff read. in that networking, you go to parties, moving and shaking you got to do to get people to read your stuff and pay attention. That was the stranger part of it. It's a good old boys club. If you're not cool in someone's eyes, then you're not going to get very far. Or if you don't have a lot of money, a lot of cliches and a lot of stereotype that I found out were truthful. On psychic, energetic level, in hindsight, we'd be in a writer's group together, and it was interesting to see the energy of the artist, the writer, and how vulnerable they get. You're going into Hollywood, and Hollywood is very cutthroat. At the same time, you're asked to do this art, to perform this art where you need to be completely vulnerable. That combination is why there's so many freaking horror stories in Hollywood. Anytime the business side enters the situation.
That's a contrast and paradox all across the board in many different areas.
Yeah.
Things in terms of the arts, you think about musicians and actors and actresses and all these different things, man. Yeah, once money's involved, you get into the business side of things. If it's not cutthroat, then it's probably fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
I'm pretty cutthroat when it comes to business. I follow the law of Gebel, law of equal energy exchange. And I'm not down with Hollywood, but I know that there's a war going on in Hollywood as well.
Yeah.
Different producers and directors and actors, people waking the fuck up versus this dark Luciferian current that is well within the dark Hollywood wand that is cast.
Yeah.
And so could you agree to that notion that there's a battle going on in terms of the arts?
Yeah, there's definitely a battle. There's part of the battle that I was part of working for independent filmmakers. They were struggling to get the smallest things done. And it was not about the money. It was about schedules and getting into locations. And
right. A lot of people out there, man, they think that shit's going to be handed to them on a silver fucking platter. You got to work fucking hard, man.
Dude, anybody that finishes
fucking time. Dude. You think these people that are ultra fucking successful are just sitting on their fucking ass doing nothing? Fuck no, man. They have a passion and a drive and a sense of fucking purpose. Of course, manipulated by those that would get individuals to sell their fucking soul and contracts and agenda to be used as a fucking puppet. It's a fucking stage, right?
Yeah.
What constitutes true power in terms of the arts is authenticity.
Yeah.
When someone's authentically expressing themselves. Bruce Lee even stated it's very difficult for someone to authentically express themselves. That's the discrepancy. Can you trust your crew? Can you trust the people around you? Are they good people? So all these different things in terms of a person's character, let alone their intention, man. You got to be able to discern that shit. Otherwise, you get swallowed the fuck up. They offer you a fucking deal, right? And people fucking go that route. They will sell their fucking soul just to get a fucking role script instead of focusing on their art and developing their art. A lot of that independent way of doing things, it's on your terms. But once you enter the fucking gates of the dark corridors, it's on theirs. In so many different areas of life, different offices, different occupations, different things that people do, man. It's not just Hollywood. Having that sense of independence is key. It boiled down to that for me in terms of the music scene. I could have been famous and all that shit, but I wasn't going to be a puppet on someone else's fucking goddamn stage that they're setting for me, trying to shut me down. I would put a lot of the content that I get into in terms of teaching and what I've exposed in lyrics back in the day. That's what the fucking boiled down to. After that's when I started Black Earth Productions, right? So many people in terms of pathwork and their life and whatever the fuck they're doing, they are struggling to succeed. But there's also glory in that fucking struggle, because if you achieve it and you don't give up and you don't cave in and quit, eventually it will start to yield results, man.
I had to get out of LA because of LA. When I came down here and open up energetically, get back on the horse, it's been like 10 years already. You know, I went from a person that was always working on a story to having no fire, the heart fire, the passion, that energy to create. It was all being diverted.
Right.
I did not have that headspace and ability to focus.
Look, man, this is a part of the communist agenda. Communism will destroy all the fucking arts, man, because they don't want people in that creative capacity. They just want everyone to be a piston in their goddamn fucking machine. So you lose that fire. Well, I got to survive, so I'm going to go work at the fucking factory. And then you're making bombshells for fucking warheads and shit. And your conscience is completely fucking seared. What the fuck is going on? Carpe fucking damn, dude. Every fucking day. You can fucking diminish, man. Fuck that shit.
I wrote in the past 2 weeks, just trying to stay focused long enough to freaking put the framework of a story together. And it was a struggle to do it. I still have a lot of work to do. It might have been your latest video, the Albion.
Mega Girl Shaman, the Albion, Solar Dragon, Emerald logos.
Yeah. Yeah.
That segment specifically attributes my personal path work, where I'm at the moment, a personal log I felt to express publicly. I'm looking for the fucking dragons. At this point, my personal path work.
Yeah.
So I'm about fucking done with this goddamn fucking reality field, man. That's my attitude. That's what I'm feeling right now, if you want me to be honest.
Your anger, I can't get angry like that.
It's not anger, it's passion.
Yeah.
No one's seen me in a rage on the level. When I go full fucking Wolfidnar, I'm holding back, honestly, 95% most of the time.
I believe it.
Compared to my actual capacity.
I can't
wield magic and energy on the level, man. It's very specific and it's with intention. When I speak, I speak forth from my heart. That's what it means to be vulnerable and authentic.
That totally comes through on your videos.
Yeah. So what about that one, though?
So in it, you say, in order for a person to get to their soul purpose, they need to embody their monadic spirit intelligence.
Yes. What's
the monadic spirit intelligence?
The monad goes back to the seed of consciousness itself, the seed of eternity.
Okay.
Primal sound fields, things beyond the nanoscopic spectrum on a multidimensional level, uncorrupted. It's a part of your eternal spirit.
Okay.
We have bodies on a multidimensional level. You have your physical body where everything is converging on a multidimensional level. It's the spirit, and people want to negate the physicality, like it's some kind of flesh prism. We're not going to be able to integrate our light body consciousness without this technology. I want to slough it off at the end of your life. Well, you'll just be back, motherfuckers, having to go through the same lessons again and again and again. And the process integration, taking the alchemical rites of initiation, is the merging of spirit with matter. Without the ignition of the monad blossoming forth within your system mechanics, the pure intelligence to which is access at that point, you're cut the fuck off from it. That's what we need to access.
How does that happen? Is that an exercise?
By taking the rites, and it's going to happen organically. All the different key components in terms of mechanics.
And then the intent, that specific intention should be there. Will it happen even if I don't intend it?
No, nothing ever happens without intending it. Everything that manifests in reality is coming from intention. If you intend to access the monadic spectrum of consciousness, you can. The spirit body of the monad is the higher mind function of the observer. What do I teach? Become the observer of your thought and emotion. Become the observer of your reaction in terms of the wiring, going back to how our thought and emotion operate. Forming concepts and making assessments. It is the higher mind principle consciousness that comes to neutral conclusions and decisions based upon accumulated experiences. When the spirit, your eternal spirit, is in control of the nervous system, it makes high evolution of consciousness action possible.
That's okay.
See how that works?
Yeah.
So everything I mentioned in terms of the initiation, take it back to the nervous system. It's your eternal spirit streamlined consciousness in context of how your thought and emotion operates. And at that point, you are accessing eternity, higher force, primal sound fields.
Yeah.
And then from there, you're able to navigate correctly in terms of how reality works. And you're not caught up in all the nets, traps, and snares and fucking bullshit. You're ripping through that shit, man. You know not to go down a certain fucking track because of where it's going to fucking lead. Your eternal spirit's letting you know. And this is what the fuck they want to cut us off from.
Yeah.
So accessing that is the point to which I got into with that particular part of the segment.
That definitely answers it. How does the double diamond heart emerald sun DNA codex related to this?
Related to that in terms of its full embodiment and ignitions and the manifestation of what the art and science of alchemy yields, the diamond heart. That's the rites of initiation and the transformation that we experience. It's metaphysical language. It's like, what the fuck is this guy even talking about? Right? Some kind of D&D shit. It's not D&D, motherfuckers. This is real fucking magic.
I had to listen to like 3 times to dig in.
The terms and semantics I'm using, I know not everybody out there is going to have one fucking clue in terms of what I'm getting at. And so take the initiation, speak with me one-on-one, and I can break it the fuck down like I am with you right now. You know,
right. Yeah.
Take you deeper. Hoo-ha, aha, now I get it. Right.
Yeah. Decoding is necessary.
Exactly.
Like reading the Tao Te Ching. Start to decode that shit.
Now imagine decoding from that place of observation in terms of your eternal spirit. You're going to understand what terms and semantics actually mean, because you are discerning of language, of symbolism, of spirits, of energies. How would you say it? And then you can expound. And that's how evolution occurs. It's one point, the ignition of the monad and the integration process we take in terms of the alchemical rites of initiation, in alignment with your eternal spirit, taking you that process, man. Layer after layer after layer of awareness revealed. In terms of observation, not everything that's revealed to you is for other people. It's for you. Anything else in terms of an overflow, never give away what's within your own cup. At that point, you're going to get sucked the fuck dry, crack and wither at that point. And this is how consciousness and genetics are harvested in terms of hyperdimensional warfare. Making connection to your core essence and your eternal spirit, higher force, that is key in terms of focus when it comes to this mystery school. That is who the fuck we are, who we truly are. And to the conditioning is what people ignore every single fucking day. And then we wonder why the world is the way that it is. They have not experienced the ignition of the monad spirit body, where people will assume that we don't have a fucking soul. Who the fuck are these people? They are the soulless, going down the track of nihilism, bullshit concepts in terms of atheism and all this different kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If you really connect to nature and the universe, man, you're going to know that there's far more that we are meant to be experiencing, cut off from, and then going towards that. What are you going to do with it now? Is it going to pay the bills? Is it going to put food on the fucking table and take care of my temporal existence? You're goddamn fucking right it is. Even better than most people that are cut off from spirit. And this is also why they struggle, because they think that that's what life is all about. That's why they suffer. And that void at a certain point, it can never be fucking filled. It's never enough.
How would you recommend I get into Keylontic science? Is that what it's
Keylontic
called?
science. Yep. I could send you some books and documents if you want to look into it. Getting into Syrian grid works of consciousness, specifically on the galactic spiral creation. There's many different portions of grid works of consciousness all across the fucking board. Some of the most ancient occult knowledge confirmed what I've known my entire life when it comes to certain things, looking into it myself. The memories and the things that I experienced in terms of my actual initiations all go back to very real confirmations that revealed themselves when I got into self-study with it. I've attributed portions of Keylontic science to my personal practice, but there's a lot of distortions within it, as with anything. So knowing how to do research and study, again, in terms of teaching and discerning from the monad, it's not just Keylontic science, man. Much has been appropriated throughout the aeons, and taking things back to the original teaching, as far as I am concerned. I'm not obsessed with Keylontic science. I have ancient Syrian beat genetics. And in terms of the Nordic tradition, this all goes back to the Alpha, like I was talking about in my most recent segment. I can send you some stuff.
Cool. So I seriously needed to not read anything spiritually based. I had to go cold turkey. So it's been like 3 years now. Seriously, your videos and the Thunder Wizard, those are the only videos I was watching that had any spiritual teachings on it. I had to return to zero and stop making assumptions. Over the years, I've had several different teachers. Some of them were serious and most of them were just dabbling. I came to a realization, dump everything. So I did. I don't know shit about anything, especially myself.
And that's the basis of initiation. You're not going to be able to navigate anything else otherwise until you have that proper foundation. And to this, as I do, I'm going to pull this segment into a break. This is Cephicus Boza, Black Earth Productions, here with Cameron, current initiate in terms of the Blue Flame, Healing Arts, Occult Science. We'll be right back after the break. Youth of delight, come hither and see the opening morn. Image of truth, newborn. Doubt is fled, and clouds of reason. Dark disputes and artful teasing. Folly is an endless maze. Tangled roots perplexed their ways. They stumble all night over bones of the dead, and feel they know not what but care, and wish to lead others when they should be led. Welcome back, everybody. This is Septic Esposa, Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame Healing Arts, and Occult Science here with Cameron Mack, one of our current initiates. And so to continue with this segment, the accumulation of information does not constitute awakening. Just because you're aware of the fucking evil in the world and all these agendas does not constitute true awakening.
Yeah.
What does that constitute? The ignition of what you fucking experience, man. So you go there and seek that, and you cannot truly take the quest otherwise, man. You just get caught, like so many fucking people out there. And this is why I encourage people to do the full rise initiation, laying the proper foundation. Position yourself to become the eternal student, knowing that you know nothing. You don't know jack shit. And having that attitude, you wake up every day fresh, excited to learn something new.
Yeah.
About yourself, about reality. You're constantly in that position to fucking evolve. Having a proper foundation and building so that the structure to which you are setting forth your intention doesn't fall to fucking pieces. Fear, indifference, cowardice, betrayal. The main thing that people fucking deal with is the fucking betrayal of their own soul by not seeking it. And you're not going to find it in books. Books are there for reference in terms of confirming certain things that are revealed. That's why we write shit the fuck down. Truth itself is a being, and you're either in connection with it or not. Imagine that connection in terms. It's not some fucking alien or an angel or a god. It's that which is the higher force itself. You can't put it into words, articulate the language of the all. You take it to the trivium, you take it to different methods to which it shows us how to navigate consciousness, how to navigate reality. Truth can be known. Otherwise, we're caught, we're lost, we're trapped, we're indifferent, and we have betrayed ourselves. And things in terms of the procession, all the stuff that came writhing to the fucking surface, all go back to that time in terms of the ancestors when that shit happened. At that point, we tear ourselves to fucking shreds and everything around us. And that's what the dark ones count upon. That's what they feast on, man. The soul ignition is what they don't want us to access. So they pull us out and all this fucking bullshit, even looking through fucking telescopes, trying to fucking conclude the idea that we're going to get in rocket ships and be able to blast off to the fucking stars. That's not how you travel, man. They themselves are in fear of having to face the overlays otherwise because it's way too fucking painful. We go into that underworld cycle experience to route this shit the fuck out. Drop all the books, drop all the fucking bullshit, drop all the assumptions, and go there like you did. That's the fucking key, dude. Then you come back, you start looking into things, and then those aha moments are hitting you, the confirmations in terms of what's being revealed at that point. It's not the other way around. Like I was saying, accumulating a bunch of information, and now you think you know shit.
Yeah.
It's also what can be applied practically to your existence in order to get results. If it's not yielding results, then it's fucking bullshit, man. People are off in fantasy land and a whole bunch of fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
That someone like myself that has been doing this work can clearly fucking see. And you're starting to see as well. Whatever you look into, man, the nectar of Athanasia.
This is the elixir?
Yes. Did you get some of that from me yet?
No.
I'm going to encourage you to do, man. That's going to assist the process as well. I'm taking it myself. It's very powerful. Everything has changed in terms of the full rise initiation.
I listened to the Dejdhi Codes of the Nartmangu in the past month 2 or 3 times. That word, Dejdhi. Never seen it spelled like that.
Dejdhi, that's how it's spelled. The Jed goes back to the wand of fire. So the Jedi, the ignition of that wand is that power, the higher force, man.
Okay, right. The Jed as in that column.
That is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
The spine of Osiris, the mechanics that we have in order to wield fire, positive and negative charge of the energy force, man. Electromagnetic connection to the third energy ignites the full spectrum of its potential. And at that point, you're wielding Mjolnir, you're wielding Excalibur. It's the Ankh in terms of the Jed, and some Ankh symbols that I've seen even have the Jed within it.
Yeah.
The Jedi.
Interesting. When I was watching your newest video, Albion Solar Dragon,
Yeah.
all I could visualize was this big emerald green ankh hovering over my head. That was weird. I've never a connection to ankhs or Egypt. I've never had that.
If you will things correctly, we can do a bit of time travel.
That's interesting. I definitely have done that. When I connect with my higher self, when I connect with the higher force, it's usually like in spurts, really quick spurts. It'll come in stories. I didn't realize this until the last probably 5 years. That's how it talks to me. Coming up with the trajectory of the whole at once without knowing it, this epic story, and not know what to do with it. I'd have to get into that learning process. Some of them were actually memories from past lives and past galactic lives. This idea of traveling through time, that was the first screenplay I ever wrote, coming from the far future, at least 10,000 years, a shaman in the far future. We were cut off from technology. The technology was destroyed to be able to travel the stars in your normal way. We were cut off, so we couldn't find a way back home because of a war between AI and humans. It ended up being a blessing in disguise, because when we got cut off, we actually were left alone by the AI, and we were able to evolve as human beings and get on the path to evolution, our spiritual selves. And we were able to then travel through time by the power of our own spirit rather than some outside technology.
Look, right. Look, you cannot make this up. If that's what came to you well over a fucking decade ago, especially now, it is the old trying to get your attention, trying to get my attention, trying to get everyone's fucking attention in terms of what's actually happening in our reality field. That is how truth operates. And if anyone right now listening cannot see the correlation in terms of what was just shared, then you got your fucking head up your ass. Now again, in terms of focus, knowing the difference, that's the key. And evolving in terms of everything that was just explained. You can't make this up. It is what is happening, and it is how things work on some of the highest levels. And that is the point of initiation into this mystery school, unlike any other mystery school on Earth. We get the results. If people go down that track of AI, what do you think the end result is going to be? They're already letting you fucking know what the end result is going to be, but people are going to go with it. Again, Hopi prophecy, white dragon prophecy. This is what we are in.
When I thought back to this first story I wrote, it triggered a bunch of memories. I remember first person accounts of that colony. And we traveled back specifically because we knew that we had to contact ourselves in the past while on Earth so that we wouldn't get to that point of annihilation where everything was AI. AI took over so much that the rest of humanity was incapable of evolving anymore in a spiritual way.
And that's their goddamn fucking goal. I think it was bad in the fucking past. It's going to be even fucking worse. It's even worse now from a certain point of view. Greatest opportunity that humanity has ever fucking had is now present. But you think of the extreme in terms of its opposition and what we're fucking actually up against here, man. I see it fucking clear as day. I warned. Now I'm warning about 2023. So we got about a year to get our shit together even fucking harder, man. You think they're fucking done?
No.
In terms of what they implemented?
Even in this timeline that we're living right now, project 100 years into the future, I totally see the transhuman timeline. And the only ones that are still human are the ones that decided to go into parts of our world, anywhere, that is nature, and getting together and creating a community built from the ground up. Instead of building those into big cities, there's towns and villages all over the place, but they're totally cut off. And that was the whole point, is because they saw the sickness and they saw everything being taken over. And they're basically built from people like you, people that understand that there is an urgency. This isn't going to happen in 1,000 years. This is going to happen fast. This is going to happen in the next 100 years.
There's breakaway societies all over the fucking place, man. People trying to get back to that. But what they're dragging with them is all of their fucking programming.
Yeah.
They're still bringing what they've been poisoned with back to the fucking tribal setting.
Yes.
In Apocalypto, when the chief told his son not to bring fear into the village. It's a sickness. It's a mind virus. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the fucking spell that everybody is under because we're so afraid to let go of this fucking bullshit and take the responsibility to create something better in its place. There's nothing wrong with technologies, but driven to the fucking point where it takes over mind completely and our abilities, we're completely fucked at that point. Altered carbon. Everybody in the future has a stack and they're able to transfer their soul into a fucking sleeve.
Yeah, that was a horribly genius.
That's not so fucking far from a potential. What all of that would constitute, they let you fucking know. When that series came out, I was like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
It's already underway. At that point, we're going to be completely off from nature and the universe, let alone the ancestors. This is why ancestors awoke 2017. I don't give a flying fuck what anybody thinks. I will hail my ancestors and I will honor my ancestors for the rest of my breath as long as I live here because of what's been revealed and confirmed. All these different things and codes activating and memories and alignments and healings and all of this really amazing fucking shit, man, that we have been cut off from. That's what they don't want to fucking happen, man. So the rush, a desperate fucking attempt in terms of what's been implemented. Why? Because they know the hour that we are fucking in. And if people truly wake the fuck up, then they're not going to get their fucking harvest. That's what all of this is right now at this fucking point. It's a giant fucking soul harvest. And if it doesn't fucking piss you off, then you're not fucking awake. If it doesn't piss you off as an individual knowing the fucking difference, then you have betrayed your own fucking soul. If it does not ignite a certain passion to find out what the fuck is really going on, even beyond what the corporations and the governments and all this shit are fucking doing, then you're not truly fucking awakened.
Yeah.
You can't even see that. First veil agendas being implemented in our fucking faces. Warned about again and again. Myself, other men in network that know the difference, men on the fucking level. Getting into long-winded discussions about all this fucking shit does not change anything. It's the actions we take. Okay, what do you want to do? Make this world a better place? Okay, do it. You're going to wake up tomorrow with that passion every fucking day, right? Let's go. That should be what the fuck drives us. Otherwise, you're just caught, man. You think you know, but you don't know. You motherfuckers still don't fucking hear me after 15 years.
Yeah.
All of us should be putting out content, letting other people know somehow, somewhere.
Yeah. That's something I need to start doing. Audio, podcast type of things.
You can do it any way you want to, man. Do what you can to present these things to other people to at the very least consider. We scatter seed and we till the fucking ground. We water that shit as well, man. If people are going to fucking fall, let them. Be devoured, motherfuckers. I don't fucking care. Get the fuck out of my temple. If people are going to fall, man, you got to let them. And hard. Take it back to protocol teaching every single fucking time. Isn't scrupulous. It can't be fucked with, man. Go back to tending the roots, tilling the soil, observing your process. Otherwise, the growth and the branch off is going to yield some rotten ass shit. There's the tree of life, the true universal tree of life, but then there's also the trees of stagnation and entropy and rot. Trees that are fucking dead. Take it back to Kabbalah, or to At, this Sephiroth. I accessed that shit and transcended those weird works of consciousness fucking years ago. No. It's the knowledge that's unattainable, the unknowable in terms of that system of bullshit. I've explained it, man.
Yeah.
And people want to go that route, get locked into the fucking Metatronics. This has already been confirmed, not just in terms of what I've shared, but others out there that get it and know what that system of magic is and where the fuck it actually comes from. Its origins, which all goes back to the Sumerian Draconian Empire. And so the knowledge of our true history being human, that's what they don't want us to access, man. That's a portion. Now, you think of planetary gates, looking at the Ari tree construct. Malkuth sits at the bottom of the tree. Right above it is Yesod, which reflects the moon gate. Now take it back to the initiation session. What does the moon actually represent? What is the moon a fragment of? It goes back to the planetary gate, Maldek. And in terms of the Graal tree construct, Maldek is intact. The moon does not even exist within that inverted geometry bullshit. And all of the shards of shattered consciousness in terms of the fucking asteroids are intact. Whereas the Ari tree, the knowledge of our true history and what the fuck has happened in terms of the solar spiral creation and all these things that I mentioned. This is why we can't navigate fucking back, and you hit that lower astral fucking ceiling every single fucking time. Anyone that works with that schematic, beyond just observing it, because you can learn a lot in terms of cosmology with it. I'm not negating that. But when you start getting into the practice of invoking and conjuring and summoning and doing incantations in terms of angels and all these different beings and shit like that, man.
Yeah.
You are getting raked out into the Watcher's grid works of consciousness. Where the fuck do you think angels come from? It's not Christianity. It all goes back to Samaritan, and that's why I don't condone it. And it's nothing to do with the original Western magical tradition. What I practice and what I teach on the level in terms of the true universal tree of life is nothing to do with the Ari tree construct in context to Kabbalah.
Going back to what we were talking about, embodying that monadic spirit intelligence, that's the work of biospiritual regenesis, correct?
That's the point of everything. That is the light body codex. Is anyone walking around in their light body? No. So we still have a ways to go, man, in terms of the human race.
Have you ever heard of Sant Mat Radhasomi, the science of soul, called Path of the Masters? Have you heard of that?
Yeah. Again, other terms that reveal a science.
Yeah. In this specific path, which is why I was attracted to a lot of your videos. Your stuff had the feeling of the cosmology behind that, behind these other paths. These other paths, they don't really talk about dimensions. What they do talk about is the regions, the astral, the causal, the mental, the soul, the spiritual, those regions. And a big thing in it is that Brahm, they make the distinction that that entity is the god of the lower three worlds. The lower three worlds being the mental, the emotional, astral, and the physical. The one aspect of the path, they believe that you have to have a living master, hooks you back up to the quote unquote audible life stream, Sarat Shabda, sound, divine sound, sent forth from, the bosom of gods, to the true gods. It's sent down through the region of the god worlds, down through the top of Triloki, which the three worlds, down through the mental, the astral, and the physical, and then it hits you as a human being. The reason why I bring all this up is I still vibe with this cosmology.
Absolutely. Principles and fundamentals in context to the original teaching, and then all the different ways that people can explain the application of these principles, fundamentals. Take it to the mythos.
Right.
The mythos is a science. It's not stories. It's fundamentals. It's principles. It's things that you could potentially experience, whether in alignment or off track. The war of the fucking gods is happening within us.
What's the overlay or the interweaving? How did the description of the dimensions are the
think about things in terms of sound, consciousness, energy, frequency, and vibration? There's many different grid works that have laced themselves out within the lower astral grid works, even counterfeit grid works to the higher to be accessed. Without that experience in terms of your spirit body and the monad integrating, you're not going to have a point of navigation beyond all the nets, traps, and snares that stand in the way of that fully integrating here in Midgard. You're going to get caught, you're going to hit a fucking wall, and then you get thrown back in terms of triangulation, like I explained, into the constructs that throw you into a fucking feedback loop. At that point, usually people give the fuck up, but they don't realize they got to go all the way back to the very fucking beginning. Look at their foundation in terms of what they have built their trajectory upon, and see whether or not the navigation is well beyond all of this lower astral fucking shit. You have your physical body, you have your mental and emotional bodies. There's the astral body in context to that. And that's where the real war is taking place. You have your soul essence, and then of course your eternal spirit. There's also sheath bodies. There's 12 total. It goes into a lot, man. But once you break it down and once you get that point of navigation at the very first fucking gate of initiation, you're going to have your navigation and be able to see all this other bullshit for what the fuck it is. Without that connection, and then you start the fucking quest, you're going to get caught. And this is where a lot of people are, man. And this is why they don't get fucking results either. because they're fucking with shit they shouldn't be. And then at a certain point, they just give the fuck up or go into full on fucking denial of what has revealed itself in terms of fucking truth. Even if someone does have that experience with the higher force.
Right.
Where did it go? Well, when the fuck did you start betraying yourself? Stop betraying yourself. Anytime you betray yourself, you betray your own soul, you betray your own eternal spirit, you're cut the fuck off. And this is what the dark ones count on. And then that unconsciously, psychologically projects itself out into the fucking reality field. How dare anyone actually fucking declare otherwise? Because now they're forced to fucking evolve and face their fucking shit. What you're sharing with me, I could 100% agree with in terms of its principle. That does go back to now.
Yeah. I was wondering what the correlation between the dimensions and the different regions were. The big hurdle in consciousness, taking the point of view of the path of the masters, one of the biggest hurdles is to reach self-realization. And self-realization is when you experience firsthand who you are as soul. You transverse the 3 lower worlds and you are able to experience what you are, just pure experience of your soul. And at the top of the 3 worlds is where Brahm resides.
At that point, everything in terms of the regions are going to filter through every fucking dimension of your experience.
Okay.
Again, it's all about a state of mind, this refinement. Now that archetype, Brahm, go into a little bit of what that means to you.
Brahm is the creator. He's Brahm, Vishnu, and Shiva all in one.
Right.
But he is the master. The higher force is actually sending the audible life stream down to him. And it's his job to take the audible life stream and split it into streams, the yin and the yang.
Positive, negative charge of the energy force.
So he's that being. So at the same time, he is both God and Satan at the same time. So, you know.
Brahm, it's fucking chaos, dude. Pure potential.
Yeah.
Now, you're either going to master that by organizing chaos or you get swallowed the fuck up.
Right.
So not knowing how to navigate, again, sound, consciousness, energy, frequency, and vibration. With that point of navigation to the ignition of the monad, you're not going to fucking breach the rift. And you will become triangulated in that paradox of polarity. And the very first place it fucking happens is within the wiring of how our thought and emotion operate. Extreme cases lead to mental disorders like schizophrenia, bipolar, MPD, BPD. Because people cannot navigate consciousness, dude. And their wiring is all fucked up. Go back to what I said about the monad and the nervous system. You want your eternal spirit streamline the mechanics in terms of ignition. That's the very first gate that you learn how to master. That's the fundamental. And if you cannot master the fundamentals, you're not going to become a fucking master. So the way of the masters, mastering your existence, becoming self-aware, all these things. At that point, at any given point along the path, when you experience those ignitions, you're integrating further in terms of your navigation. And you're able to see shit for what the fuck it is. And you're not getting caught. You're getting it, getting fucking results. You're having these experiences. And so the reddening in terms of alchemy, now you come into the knowing where things are solidified. And then you can sharpen your fucking trajectory. With all of that, Cameron, I'm going to wrap up this segment. Awesome questions that you got into with me today, and it was very good to dive deep into all of this.
It's been good. Thanks.
Okay, later.
Bye.
If anybody out there is interested in the mystery school, send me an email at blackearthproductions with an S at hotmail.com. Check out the website at blackearthproductions with a Z.com. Click on the services page with the Nectar of Athanasia. Check out the products page as well, and other very powerful products that you want to get hold of in terms with everything. And as to quote William Blake, cruelty has a human heart, and jealousy a human face, terror the human form divine, and secrecy the human dress. The human dress is forged in iron, the human form a fiery forge, the human face a furnace sealed, the human heart its hungry gorge. Does the eagle know what is in the pit, or wilt thou go ask the mole? Can wisdom be put in a silver rod, or love in a golden bowl? This is Septic Exposa, Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame Healing Arts, and Occult Science. Be empowered, be encouraged.